The American writer Hunter S Thompson is probably best known for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Now, people like to focus on the drugs and the wild side of his lifestyle, but I like to focus on the fact that he was a true petrol head. Later in his career, in 1992, Cycle World, an American magazine, managed to get him to review a motorbike for them. It was a Ducati 900SS. The story has become legendary, and I wanted to share it with you today. Here we go. Song of the Sausage Creature by Hunter S Thompson. There are some things nobody needs in this world, and a bright red, hunchback, warp speed 900cc calf racer is one of them. But I want one anyway, and on some days I actually believe that I need one, and that is why they are dangerous. Everybody has fast motorcycles these days, and some people go 150 miles an hour on two-lane blacktop roads, but not often. There are too many oncoming trucks and too many radar cops and too many stupid animals in the way. You have to be a little crazy to ride these super torque, high-speed crotch rockets anywhere except the racetrack, and even there, they will scare the whimpering shit out of you. There is, after all, not a pig's eye's worth of difference between going head-on into a Peterbilt or sideways into the bleachers. And on some days, you get what you want, and on other days, you get what you need. When Cycle World called me to ask if I would road test the new Harley Road King, I got uppity and I said I'd rather have a Ducati superbike. It seemed like a chic decision at the time, and my friends on the superbike circuit got very excited. Hot damn, they said. We'll take it to the track and blow the bastards away. Balls, I said. Never mind the track. The track is for punks. We are road people. We are calf racers. The Cafe Racer is a different breed, and we have our own situations. Pure speed in 6th gear on a 5,000 foot straightaway is one thing, but pure speed in 3rd gear on a gravel-strewn downhill S-turn is quite another, but we like it. A thoroughbred Cafe Racer will ride all night through a fog storm in freeway traffic to put himself into what somebody told him was the ugliest and tightest decreasing radius turn since Genghis Khan invented the corkscrew. Cafe racing is mainly a matter of taste. It's an atavistic mentality, a peculiar mix of low style, high speed and pure dumbness, an overweening commitment to the cafe life and all its dangerous pleasures, and I am a cafe racer myself. On some days, it's one of my finest addictions. I'm not without scars on my brain and my body, but I can live with them. I still feel a shudder in my spine every time I see a picture of a Vincent Black Shadow, or when I walk into a public restroom and hear crippled men whispering about the terrifying Kawasaki Triple. I have visions of compound femur fractures and large black men in white hospital suits holding me down on a gurney while a nurse called Bess sews the flaps on my scalp together with a stitching drill. Ho ho! Thank God for these flashbacks. The brain is such a wonderful instrument until God sinks his teeth into it. Some people hear Tiny Tim singing when they go under, and others hear the song of the sausage creature. When the Ducati turned up on my driveway, nobody knew what to do with it. I was in New York covering a polo tournament, and people had threatened my life. My lawyer said I should give myself up and enroll in the Federal Witness Protection Program, and other people said it had something to do with the polo crowd. The motorcycle business was the last straw. It had to be the work of my enemies, or people who wanted to hurt me. It was the vilest kind of bait, and they knew I would go for it. The motorcycle, of course, you want to cripple the bastard? Send him a 130 mile an hour Cafe Racer and include some license plates. He'll think it's a street bike. He's queer for anything fast, which is true. I've been a connoisseur of fast motorcycles all my life. I bought a brand new 650 BSA Lightning when it was built, the fastest motorcycle ever tested by Hot Rod magazine. And I've ridden a 500-pound Vincent through traffic on the Ventura Freeway with burning oil on my legs and run the Kawa 750 Triple through Beverly Hills at night with a head full of acid. I've ridden with Sonny Barger and smoked weed in biker bars with Jack Nicholson and Grace Slick and Ron Ziegler and my infamous old friend Ken Casey, a legendary cafe racer. Some people will tell you that slow is good, and it may be on some days, but I'm here to tell you that fast is almost always better. I've always believed this, in spite of the trouble it's caused me. Being shot out of a cannon will always be better than being squeezed out of a tube, and that is why God made fast motorcycles, Bubba. So when I got back from New York and I found a fiery red rocket-style bike in my garage, I realised I was back in the road testing business. The brand new Ducati 900 Campione del Mundo de Musque Supersport double-barreled Magnum Cafe Racer filled me with feelings of lust every time I looked at it, and others felt the same way, and my garage quickly became a magnet for drooling superbike groupies. They quarrelled and bitched at each other about who would be the first to help me evaluate my new toy, and I did, of course, need a certain spectrum of opinions, besides my own, to properly judge this motorcycle. The Woody Creek Perverse Environmental Testing Facility is a long way from Daytona or even Top Fuel Challenge sprints on the Pacific Coast Highway, where teams of big bore Kawasaki's and Yamahas are said to race head-on against each other in death-defying games of chicken at 100 miles an hour. No, not everybody who buys a high-dollar torque brute yearns to go out in a ball of fire on a public street in LA. Some of us are decent people who want to stay out of the emergency room, but to blast through neo-gridlock traffic in residential districts whenever we feel like it. And for that, we need fine machinery. Which we had, no doubt about that. The Ducati people in New Jersey had opted, for some reasons of their own, to send me the 900SS SP for testing, rather than their 916 crazy fast, state-of-the-art superbike track racer. It was far too fast, they said, and prohibitively expensive to farm out for testing to a gang of half-mad Colorado cowboys who think they're world-class cafe racers. The Ducati 900 is a finely engineered machine, and my neighbours called it beautiful and admired its racing lines. The nasty little bugger looked like it was going 90 miles an hour when it was just standing still in my garage. Taking it on the road, though, was a genuinely terrifying experience. I had no sense of speed until I was going 90 and coming up fast on a bunch of pickup trucks going into a wet curve along the river. I went for both brakes, but only the front one worked, and I almost went end over. I was out of control, staring at the tailpipe of a US mail truck, still stabbing frantically at my rear brake pedal, which I just couldn't find. I am too tall for these new age road racers. They are not built for any rider taller than 5'9", and the rear set brake pedal was not where I thought it would be. Mid-sized Italian pimps who like to race from one cafe to another on the boulevards of Rome in a flatline prone position might like this, but I do not. I was hunched over the tank like a person diving into a pool that got emptied yesterday. Wacko, bashed on the concrete bottom, flesh ripped off, sausage creature with no teeth, fucked up for the rest of its life. We all love torque, and some of us are taking it straight over the high side from time to time, and there's always pain in that, but there's also fun. The deadly element, and fun is what you get when you screw this monster on. Boom! Instant takeoff. No screeching or squawking around like a fool with your teeth clamping out and your tongue and your mind completely empty of everything but fear. No. This bugger digs right in and shoots you straight down the pipe, for good or ill. On my first takeoff, I hit second gear and went through the speed limit on a 2-lane blacktop highway full of ranch traffic, and by the time I went up to third, I was going 75 and the tacho was barely above 4,000. That's when it got its second wind. From 4,000 to 6,000 RPM in third will take you from 75 to 95 in 2 seconds. And after that, Bubba, you still have fourth, fifth, and sixth. I never got to sixth gear, and I didn't get deep into fifth, and that is a shameful admission for a full-bore cafe racer. But let me tell you something, old sport. This motorcycle is simply too goddamn fast to ride at speed in any kind of normal traffic unless you're ready to go straight down the centre line with your nuts on fire and a silent scream in your throat. When aimed in the right direction at high speed, though it has unnatural capabilities. This I unwittingly discovered as I made my approach to a sharp turn across some railroad tracks, saw that I was going way too fast and that my only chance was to veer right and screw it on totally in a desperate attempt to leapfrog the curve by going airborne. It was a bold and reckless move, but it was necessary and it worked. I felt like Evel Knievel as I soared across the tracks with the rain in my eyes and my jaw clamped together in fear, and I tried to spit down on the tracks as I passed them, but my mouth was too dry. I landed hard on the edge of the road and lost my grip for a moment as the Ducati began fishtailing crazily into oncoming traffic for 2 or 3 seconds, and I came face to face with the sausage creature. But somehow, the brute straightened out and I passed a school bus on the right and got the bike under control long enough to gear down and pull off into an abandoned gravel driveway where I stopped and turned off the engine. My hands had seized up like claws and the rest of my body was numb. I felt nauseous and I cried for my mama, but nobody heard. And then I went into a trance for 30 or 40 seconds until I was finally able to light a cigarette and calm down enough to ride home. I was too hysterical to shift gears, so I went the whole way in first at 40 miles an hour. What am I saying? Tall stories, ho. We are motorcycle people. We walk tall and we laugh at whatever's funny and we shit on the chests of the weird. But when we ride very fast motorcycles, we ride with immaculate sanity, and we might abuse a substance here and there, but only when it's right. The final measure of any rider's skill is the inverse ratio of his preferred travelling speed to the number of bad scars on his body. It is that simple. If you ride fast and crash, you're a bad rider. And if you're a bad rider, you should not ride motorcycles. The emergence of the superbike has heightened this equation drastically. Motorcycle technology has made such a great leap forward. Take the Ducati. You want optimum cruising speed on this bugger? Try 90 in fifth at 5,500. And just then, you see a bull moose in the middle of the road. Wacko. Meet the sausage creature. Or maybe not. The Ducati 900 is so finely engineered and balanced and torqued that you can do 90 mile an hour in fifth through a 35 mile an hour zone and get away with it. The bike is not just fast, it's extremely quick and responsive, and it will do amazing things. It's like riding a Vincent Black Shadow, which would outrun an F-86 jet fighter on the takeoff runway, but at the end, the F-86 would go airborne, and the Vincent would not. And there was no point in trying to turn it. Whammo, the sausage creature strikes again. There's a fundamental difference, however, between the old Vincents and the new breed of superbikes. If you rode the Black Shadow at top speed for any length of time, you would almost certainly die. That's why there's not many life members of the Vincent Black Shadow Society. The Vincent was like a bullet that went straight, and the Ducati is like the magic bullet in Dallas that went sideways and hit JFK and the governor of Texas at the same time. It was impossible. But so was my terrifying sideways leap across the railroad on the 900. The bike did it easily with the grace of a fleeing tomcat. The landing was so easy I remember thinking, God damn it, if I'd screwed it on a little more, I could have gone further. Maybe there is a new Cafe Racer Macho. My bike is so much faster than yours that I dare you to ride it, you lame little turd. Do you have the balls to ride this bottomless pit of torque? That is the attitude of the new age superbike freak, and I am one of them. On some days, they are about the most fun you can have with your clothes on. The Vincent just killed you a lot faster than a superbike will. A fool couldn't ride the Vincent Black Shadow more than once, but a fool can ride the Ducati 900 many times, and it will always be a blood-curdling kind of fun. And that is the curse of speed, which has plagued me all my life. I am slave to it, and on my gravestone they will carve, "It never got fast enough for me."
YouTube's most boring car channel.